This is going to be a quick video. Production quality is going to suck, but you'll get the point. There it is. So if you're going to do this, you should take this valve off. You don't want to just go cut into it and blow yourself up. Take this valve off first, this side. Listen here. Vent out. The last bit of propane. Take the valve off. It's a real bitch. You got to get a bunch of leverage. I'm using this bar. And then fill it with a garden hose all the way. That'll displace all the gas out, drain the water out, do it maybe 2 times, and you should be clear to cut. All right, so I actually flushed it 3 times because I kept smelling propane. After 3 times, it's gotta be clear. Just to be sure, I lit a match with needle nose pliers. I dropped it in there. Nothing went off. So, cut that off. So I drilled holes every 1 inch using a 7/16 drill bit. That part sucks. So for building something to have your outer sheet metal sit against, I'm using 1 inch by 1 inch 1/8 angle. I've marked every 1/2 inch, but I only ended up using every inch. And you just take your cutoff wheel and cut in. I started doing 2 cuts wide, but you could see with the bend we need, it's gonna leave a lot to have to weld in. So I've started to do 1 and then halfway on the other, and then you can bend it around. It'll just make filling those welds in easier, like there versus there. All right, now the long process of welding it all the way and all of these in. All right, so just cut the 16 gauge and then tacked it on. This I had a patch because I didn't have enough angle iron, so that's just a 16 gauge patch. Tacked it and then started bending, and I just worked this clamp around. Once you get it started about that far, you can start almost bending it in place by hand. So the last thing I did for the bottom is just these triangular cuts for the main vent, and then I welded on a 16 gauge bottom plate. I think I'm gonna drill a hole through somewhere so I can put a blowtorch in. It'll go all the way through. Just to start it. And then I added these handles. These are valve springs out of a 12 valve Cummins. So there it is. One last thing I want to add. I see some guys go crazy with the amount of holes in the bottom. Don't overdo it. I also saw another guy on YouTube. He had a good point. He was talking about having 3% of the bottom's pan surface area being holes. With mine, these are 1.5 inches by 3/4 inch, and there's 8 of them. So off the surface area of the bottom of this, I have about 4% surface area. It seems I did that just winging it. And then I saw his comment. It seems like he's got a good point there. 4% seems pretty good. 3% I'm sure is great. I wouldn't go over. Seems to be working well. There's no smoke. We'll see when these logs start getting burned down. So these logs have been in here for like 15 minutes and it's still roaring away smoke free. Look, you can see the jets ripping along.